For decades, Iran has been a constant presence in breaking news headlines. We hear about sanctions, military threats, proxy wars, nuclear talks, and political tension. But have you ever stopped to ask the real question? Why does this one country attract so much global pressure? Why do powerful nations pour billions of dollars, military resources, and diplomatic energy into trying to contain it? Is Iran truly a global threat, or is it just standing in the way of much bigger interests? To really get it, we need to look past the slogans and propaganda. What's unfolding isn't just about one country, it's about power, control, history, and a whole lot of fear. First off, Iran is not a small or weak nation. It's located right at the heart of the Middle East, a region that controls some of the world's most critical energy routes and resources. It has a civilization stretching back thousands of years, a powerful sense of national identity, and a political system that refuses to completely align with Western influence. Ever since the 1979 Islamic Revolution, Iran has carved its own path, challenging the global order, especially the dominance of the United States and its allies. This single decision completely reshaped Iran's relationships with its neighbors, with Israel and with Western powers, turning Iran into both a major regional player and a global concern. So let's break down the real reasons behind all this pressure. A huge piece of the puzzle is historical. The 1979 revolution totally flipped Iran's relationship with the West, especially the United States, creating decades of deep mistrust. Then there's the intense regional rivalry, mainly with Saudi Arabia. They're both competing for influence across the Middle East, often backing opposite sides in conflicts, which just adds more fuel to the fire. And of course, there's the most talked about issue, Iran's nuclear program. Iran insists its program is for peaceful energy production, but many world powers are deeply worried it could be used to develop nuclear weapons. This has led to strict international monitoring and a lot of high-stakes diplomatic standoffs. To try and curb these ambitions and its regional activities, crippling economic sanctions have been imposed. These sanctions hit Iran's economy and its people incredibly hard. All these factors, the history, the regional power plays, the nuclear fears, and the sanctions all combine to keep Iran under constant, intense global pressure. So, by the end of this, you can decide for yourself. Is Iran being targeted for what it does, or for what it represents? Thanks for watching, and don't forget to subscribe for more deep dives into global issues. Ever wondered why Iran always seems to be in the headlines, often facing pressure from major world powers? The reasons are complex, so let's break it down. To really get it, we have to look back in time. Today's conflicts didn't just pop up out of nowhere. Before 1979, Iran was actually a close friend of the United States and other Western countries. It was a key ally in the Middle East, but everything changed with the Islamic Revolution. Iran decided to cut ties with Western political influence, got rid of its monarchy, and set up a new system based on religious governance and national independence. This was a huge shock to global powers, especially the US. Suddenly, a strategic partner had turned into an unpredictable challenger. From that point on, a deep mistrust set in, and almost everything Iran did was seen as a potential threat, not a cooperative move. Another big reason is Iran's growing influence across the Middle East. Iran has built strong relationships, both politically and militarily, in places like Iraq, Syria, Lebanon, and Yemen. Iran's supporters say this is just a defensive strategy, a way to protect itself from foreign attacks and hostile neighbors. But its critics see it differently. They call it expansionism, arguing that Iran uses local groups to influence regional politics without getting its own hands dirty. This puts Iran in direct competition with countries like Saudi Arabia and Israel. Both see Iran as rising power as a direct threat to their own security and leadership in the region. These rivalries aren't just about politics. They're also fueled by deep-seated religious divides, with Iran representing Shia power in a region mostly led by Sunni governments, which only adds to the fear and suspicion. Then there's the intense conflict with Israel. Why Iran doesn't recognize Israel as a legitimate state and openly supports groups that challenge Israeli policies. For Israel, this makes Iran an existential threat, especially with the fear that Iran could develop advanced military power. This fear is a major reason why Israel pushes so hard for international sanctions and even military pressure against Iran. The situation gets even more heated when you add Iran's nuclear program to the mix. Many countries worry it could lead to nuclear weapons, even though Iran insists its program is for peaceful energy and science. In world politics, what people think you might do is often more important than what you say you'll do, and this fear keeps the pressure on. Finally, it comes down to economic power. Iran sits on some of the world's largest oil and gas reserves. Its location is also incredibly strategic, giving it control over major energy shipping routes like the Strait of Hormuz. This control over vital resources gives Iran significant leverage and makes it a central player in the global economy, a fact that other powerful nations can't ignore. So, it's a mix of history, regional power struggles, deep-seated rivalries, and control over resources that puts Iran at the center of so much international tension. What are your thoughts on this complex situation? Let me know in the comments, and don't forget to subscribe for more deep dives into global topics. Thanks for watching. Ever wonder why Iran always seems to be in the headlines, often portrayed as a major global threat? To understand why so many countries target Iran, we have to rewind the clock. It wasn't always this way. Before 1979, Iran was a close friend of the United States and other Western powers. It was their key ally in the Middle East. But everything changed with the Islamic Revolution. Iran turned its back on Western influence, overthrew its monarchy, and established a new government based on religious principles and national independence. This wasn't just a small political change, it was a seismic shock to the global order. Suddenly, a strategic partner had become an unpredictable challenger. From that point on, deep mistrust set in, and every move Iran made was seen as a potential threat. Another huge reason Iran is targeted is its growing power across the Middle East. Iran has built strong relationships, both politically and militarily, in countries like Iraq, Syria, Lebanon, and Yemen. Iran and its supporters see this as a defensive shield, a way to protect itself from foreign attacks and hostile neighbors. But its critics, like Saudi Arabia and Israel, see it as aggressive expansion. They argue that Iran uses proxy groups to control regional politics without having to fight directly. This puts Iran in a head-to-head clash with these rival powers, who view Iran's influence as a direct challenge to their own security and leadership. This rivalry isn't just political, it's also fueled by deep-seated religious divisions, with Shia-led Iran opposing the largely Sunni-led governments in the region, which only adds to the fear and mistrust. Then there's the intense conflict between Iran and Israel. Iran does not recognize Israel's right to exist and openly supports groups that fight against Israeli policies. For Israel, this makes Iran an existential threat, something that could one day wipe it off the map, especially if Iran developed advanced weapons. This fear is a powerful motivator for Israel to push for international sanctions, political pressure, and even military strikes against Iran. This situation gets even more dangerous when you add Iran's nuclear program to the mix. Many countries worry it's a secret path to a nuclear bomb, even though Iran has always insisted its program is for peaceful energy and science. In global politics, what people fear you might do is often more important than what you say you'll do. Let's not forget about the money and resources. Iran sits on some of the largest oil and gas reserves on the planet. Its location is also incredibly strategic, giving it control over critical energy shipping lanes, like the Strait of Hormuz. Any disruption there could send shockwaves through the global economy. This control over energy gives Iran a powerful bargaining chip, but it also makes it a target for countries that want to ensure the free flow of oil and limit Iran's economic leverage. When you control something the whole world needs, you automatically become a player in a very high-stakes game. So when we look at the big picture, it's clear that Iran isn't targeted for just one reason. It's a complex storm of history, regional power struggles, deep-seated fears, and competing interests. Iran stands at a crossroads of ideology and geopolitics. It's a nation born from revolution, fiercely protective of its independence, and unafraid to challenge the world's most powerful players. For some, Iran represents chaos and danger. For others, it symbolizes resistance and strength. The truth is probably somewhere in the middle. What we know for sure is that years of sanctions and confrontation have weakened Iran's influence. They've just changed its shape. As long as these rivalries in the Middle East continue, as long as the nuclear issue remains unresolved, and as long as global powers compete for control, Iran will remain at the center of the world's attention. The real question is no longer just why Iran is targeted, but whether this cycle of tension can ever be broken. The future will depend on whether the world chooses dialogue over domination, diplomacy over pressure, and understanding over fear, because the kind of Middle East that emerges from this conflict will affect us all. Thanks for watching. If you found this breakdown helpful, make sure to like and subscribe for more deep dives into global issues. See you next time.